Welcome to the 30-Day Transformation Challenge, Week 2, Days 6 and 7. So once again, we've reached, probably for most of you, a weekend where you're going through weekend number 2 and you're in the midst of this 30-day challenge. Some of you have thought, I'll start this, but I may not get very far. Yet here we are in the middle of it, having half of it done, only half of it to go. And I'm just so hopeful that it's being a blessing to your life. If God is changing your life in any way because of what you're doing here, I am pleased to be a small part of that for sure. So on these 2 days, you want to keep that regular time going with Jesus. It's just, again, you and Him, you and the Lord, you and the King, the Creator, being with each other. No doubt you're going through some things in life, perhaps things at work aren't all that going well, or there are relationships that are going wonderfully and you give Him praise. But whatever is going on in your life, keep that prayer time going, okay? That's the first thing we want to focus on, is that you keep for these 2 days your prayer time with God, that commitment that you have made to Him. And again, you may incorporate a walk in the neighborhood and praying for the neighbors and the homes that you walk in front of, that God reveals His glory, that He touches those hearts. Whatever it is, keep the prayer time, okay? The second activity is to, number one, make sure that you've scheduled in that retreat time, okay, that extended time of prayer. And now what I want you to do over these next 2 days, or on both days, hopefully the weather will permit you to do this, but I want you to take a walk under a clear nighttime sky. I'm just telling you right now, we are so accustomed to what is in our skies, we don't take note of it anymore. And yet, God is speaking of His glory every night when Jupiter shines brightly in the winter sky. As I'm recording this video, it's nearly the middle of February, and in I think a day or two, Jupiter, the moon, and Saturn are going to be all close together. It's going to be one of those nighttime events that it's glorious. I just find myself in awe at some of the things I see in the sky. In fact, just the other night, my wife and I were outside, happened to be looking up in the sky, and a meteor it wasn't one of those that is long and white, and you see it from far off and it lasts only like a half a second. This one was very, very close. It burned very brightly. It was mostly white, but you could see other colors. It was phenomenal. And it was just a blessing to be able to see that at that time. So get outside and walk and talk with God under a clear nighttime sky and let Him speak to you. Take someone special along with you. Maybe it's your spouse. Maybe it's a child or a friend. And just enjoy listening to God together. And if you're like me, it's only natural to move into a time of worship through prayer, through speaking to Him and thanking Him for His creation, thanking Him for making things the way He did. Can be a very, very incredible, transforming time with the Lord. And again, don't forget to include your experience in your journal. Come back and write about that. Now, the other activity is all about just making adjustments to the prayer time. You probably already have, as many of us get to this point where we realize, I initially started by planning 15 or 20 minutes of my day in prayer. And we've increased that. We're now doing 30 minutes. I want to encourage you to block out an hour, all right? Again, this is just to help us as we move closer to that 2-hour or longer prayer retreat, okay? Again, exercising, being with God, because we want Him to transform us. So, maybe you need to move it to a different time slot. You were doing it from 7 to 7:30. Now you're going to need to do this from 6 to 7 because of the needs to, take care of yourself in the morning, go to work, get ready to go to work. Or if you do it in the evening, nighttime, it may be that you need to do it earlier or give up TV or whatever it is. Do that. Make it at least an hour. And don't worry about filling the whole hour. That's not really the point. But we do want to dedicate that time to God and dedicate it to prayer and to praying. Okay, so do that. Keep the habit going. And what's hopefully is happening is that your desire to pray and to be with the Lord is coming from a heart that just simply wants to be with Him, because you need Him and you want Him and you love Him and you've tasted of His beauty and you've seen His glory and you want to be with Him, versus because you're doing a 30-day challenge. That really, that's part of the goal as well, okay? So keep it up, keep the focus, keep your heart fixed on Jesus. It doesn't matter what has happened and what you've done, you keep the focus on Jesus and let Him transform you. Keep moving forward. All right? I'll see you in the next video.